Good morning. It's a Wednesday morning. It's a little misty, but it's dry and it's not big and hot. So today's episode will involve a wall. We did hope to be undoing the shed, but we did decide afterwards that where we have a split level where the tipper's parked and then the base for the shed, so we'll be parking where the tipper is, the other way round, in facing in that way. That we were going to have a deck outside the front of the shed to enable access into the doors at the front here on the long side. But then we've decided that the deck would be slippy in the winter months, so we're building a retaining wall along here. So dug out and excavated 6 feet in front of the shed. There's a concrete strip foundation, and on top of that today, got some help from my mate Howell. We're going to put a 18-inch retaining wall so high and then revert back to a 9-inch when it comes within 800 mils of the top of the wall, which is the standard. So more blocks, more concrete, and more time lapse, I'm afraid. But if you'd like to leave any comments on our progress, that would be appreciated. It does help us to get some feedback that making these videos is having an impact on some people and giving people something to watch and enjoy. So on with the time lapse.
What's today's task then, Reese?
Today's task is to get through the day and still be alive. So what we built is a retaining wall, and the retaining wall is holding back the elevated patio area in front of the cabin, and within that elevated patio area we're going to have the drainage for the soil. And the across there you'll see the stub of the pipe sticking out to the concrete slab with the black tape on top. It loops down through, it'll come into the soil in this area here, where there'll be one of these manholes, inspection chambers as they're now known, at the end of the pipe, and then the pipes will run down to the end where there's another manhole, and then From that manhole down there, it'll run across, straight through, and pick up into the existing septic tank, which is in the field, just the other side of the hedge there. And from that manhole here in the middle, where it picks up the cabin toilet, it'll run across the wall here, in between the new retaining wall and the side of the foot-in foundation. There'll be another manhole here on this corner, which will then take a pipe that leads across over to the cowshed. So all of the buildings will run down through, and we've got a nice 6-inch setup rather than the 4-inch to run all through down and across to pick up the septic tank. So the aim of today, we spent a couple of days now. This wall, we calculated this wall's got 10 tons of blocks and sand and cement in it. So basically we started off, the rule of thumb for a retaining wall, that it's 1/3 of its height in thickness. So this is based on the bottom of the wall here is approximately 1.5 meters lower than where the top of it, than the soil it's trying to retain. So its thickness at the bottom needs to be 500 millimeters. But as you come up through the layers, if you can pick up on that, you can reduce the thickness of it to 1/3 of its height. And you take a recalculation for every step you take, that it's 1/3 of the height left to gain, if that makes any sense. So if you're doing a retaining wall that's 900 millimeters high, 3 feet, its thickness needs to be 1 foot at the base. So that's why we're able to step it back in stages. So at the bottom of this wall, we had a concrete foundation. I don't know if you saw in previous videos, that was 700 mils wide, and on top of that was 8 inches thick. On top of that then we had a 450 mil thick wall, which is a block on end, flat, a full block depth, and that came up 1, 2, 3, 4 courses. 4 courses of solid 18-inch. The next course up that you see, this course here, that is a 300 mil thick, because that's 2 6-inch blocks stood one behind the other. And then we go up to the next level, and that is 9 inches thick, which is a 6-inch block laid flat. And the top course, which is one left to go on here, will bring it up to its level, and that'll be 6 inches lower than the floor in the cabin. So today we've put in, or whilst we were blocking up, we've put in these drainage pipes, and they are to take away the water, because if you allow water to build up behind a retaining wall, the weight of the water can eventually push on the retaining wall and push it over, crack it, make it move, do all things you don't want it to do. So the pipes run through the wall to the inside. I can't quite see them in there because, so you see the end of one of the pipes in there sticking through the wall, and then the gap that's left between the soil that we excavated and the retaining wall varies from about 4 to 6 inches wide. So we've tucked in weed membrane to the bottom all the way down to the concrete foundation, and we're going to backfill that with some chunky chip-ins. And then so the chunky chip-ins are up to a level roughly here, which is up to the top of this 3-inch 300 mil level. We'll fill to here with chunky chip-ins, and then we'll pull the top of the weed membrane over the top of the chip-ins, and then we can backfill the rest of the height with soil. And it was effectively leaving us a French drain in behind the wall, and all the water will collect in that French drain and pour out through these holes. These holes are basically a downpipe But the cemented inter situ running downhill through the wall, and that will suffice as good drainage, considerable drainage. A bit over the top as usual, but why not? If you're doing it once, you do it right, and you haven't got to come back to it and deal with any disasters such as subsidence. So drainage pipe through the wall, sticking out the inside there, covered in thick chip-ins, chunky chip-ins. They're about 40mm ones, the ones we got today. A couple of tons of those on the tipper, and we'll backfill those, pull the membrane over the top, and then we're free to backfill. So that's the order of today.
Excellent. Level where you going?
So 1 in 80, so 48-inch level, so just over half-inch full bubble. So I'll lift that end up. I got 3/4 of an inch there, so that's more than 1 in 80.
So is that within the parameter, or so is 1 in 80 the minimum?
Very minimal.
Is there a maximum?
There is, you have to Google that.
Right. Maximum for sewage drainage UK. 1 in 40. So maximum recommended fall for sewage drainage pipes is generally 1 in 40. So you say minimum is 1 in 80,
Yeah,
maximum's 1 in 40, so we're bang on there. Yep.
It is.
It is, yeah. Yeah, so the connector is a different shade of orange, yeah?
Yeah, they're different brands.
Yeah.
So that pipe and this pipe are one brand.
Yeah.
Which means the offcut for this pipe, because this is an offcut, is over there.
Yeah.
Will fit into that easier. Slot together easier than swapping brands.
Yeah.
Getting that elbow on our pipe there yesterday, I had that pipe stuck in the dirt here trying to push against it. And it took everything I had to get it to clunk in, and then the pipe's full of dirt because it's been pushed down the bank in 4 feet.
Yeah, it can't be helped. Right.
twist here because remember they're hard work, they're 2 joints.
Yeah.
So that one over there should rotate in the manhole, so we need to just twist this pipe. That's it.
Is that enough?
Yeah. So I need to get concrete under that. So but at least all that can be backfilled.
Yeah.
Even if it's just hand raked over once it's like
Need to put
we've got to support this pipe here.
put some of this underneath the pipe.
Ideally not, because that was the only thing we've got left to dress the top with. So scallop ends I would use.
Right.
Pea gravel and small chippings, but there's quite a drop over there, see. That's the pool pipe for farmhouse, cow shed.